Rory McIlroy discussing life post-Masters. It sounds complicated. AO, his U.S. Open record less complicated, very clear of late, playing great golf, hasn't missed a cut since 2018, 6 top 10s in a row.
Gary Williams asked the question. It was a good question. What was the switch? And so, I wanted to see exactly, too, looking at his career over his career. I just kind of stumbled upon this. And this is and he talked about it, this is a conscious effort to want to get better at a certain part of your game or parts of your game that is going to make you better at a certain tournament and or set of tournaments, which are the hardest in the world to win, which are the 4 majors, and in particular, the U.S. Open. He made a conscious effort to get better.
And he calls the U.S. Open now one of his favorite tournaments on the calendar, but you could hear him right off the top talking about life after the Masters, saying he doesn't really have a plan for what's next. Not sure what the next 5 years looks like. It reminds me of 2 things. Tiger Woods, 2001, completes the Tiger Slam. We don't really see much of him over the next 3 majors. Our great researcher, Kevin Ryan, reminded me of 2001. David Duval becomes the #1 player in the world, wins his first major, and says, is this it? And clearly Rory in a bit of that kind of mental space right now.
I was actually shocked at his response to that question and talking about potentially picking up hobbies, traveling the world. It felt as though he hadn't thought what life would be like after winning the Masters.
It's been 2 months.
But at some point you visualize it, and then he very, very plainly said that wasn't part of the equation, is what would happen after that. And I found that to be quite shocking that he would approach it that way.
So there was 2 schools of thought, right? Like when we sat here Sunday after the Masters, we thought 2 different things were going to happen potentially, 2 different routes for Rory McIlroy. One, he was going to be unlocked, he was going to be unburdened. Remember Xander Schauffele said the prospect of now Rory McIlroy in the majors was going to be, quote, scary.
Yep.
Or the other path was going to be that the hunger has been tapered a little bit. I think it's fair to say, just listening to Rory, he seems to be grappling with what do these next 5 years even look like. And I think that's perfectly okay. I think there was an expectation, he's just going to go on a rampage, thinking that he's more Tiger Woods. That's what Tiger Woods would have done. But when you do have this life-altering moment, when you do have this life-affirming moment of what he's accomplished in the game of golf, it's okay to sort of take a couple months to figure it out. He's still 36 years old. I think a natural reset will happen. It just might not happen this week at the U.S. Open.
I just think it's interesting that the last decade, it has felt like he has had to somewhat validate, justify his career by winning everything else. He was talked about it. I went, a decade without winning a major championship, but I won FedEx Cup. I did all of this as well. And he always had to kind of answer that. Like, my career has been excellent without this. Now that he has this, there's not that kind of hunger, it appears anyway, to win the rest of it.
We all watched it at the Masters and watched him on 18 green. And we saw, we saw that release. And for me, I think I watched it as a fan going, oh, look, that was an incredible moment. But I don't think we really all understood how much of a release that was, to your point, Lav. And what it really meant. The gorilla, the elephant, whatever was on his back was much bigger than 1,000 pounds.
And the burden that he carried in his own mind for, he said, a decade or more. Every week, every press center, so you've won the Players twice. You keep winning FedEx Cups, but endlessly.
Yeah, and an endless amount of buts, without a doubt.
Race to the bottom.
That he had to deal with.
Winning everything else but majors.
He's been phenomenal.
He has.
Phenomenal. But he hasn't done what everybody else expects him to do because of his greatness.
For you. Sets up perfectly
How about
for you,
hearing
Rory.
that? How about hearing that every year, especially after 2011?
Yeah.
What he did in 2011 had that great, and then you have to hear that every year, year after year, year after year. So to get that release, I don't think any of us, and I'm going to, definitely me, I didn't see it because I thought he was going to run roughshod over everybody at Quail, and he didn't. And so I think we really are getting a sense of how much of an emotional release that was, because he sounded like he was getting ready to go into semi-retirement. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I'm playing tennis.
I'm picking up tennis. I'm like,
he's playing more tennis than anybody.
Yeah.
How about that? But those tears were an 8-year-old's tears. Yeah. He had dreamed about winning the Masters. It was the one missing piece, Ryan. It was the one burden. And it sounds like now he's asking for patience. He's asking for grace. Let me kind of figure out what's next?
I think he's been humanized a lot over these past couple of months because he was quick after he won the Masters to sort of shift the narrative and say, look, I'm a story of anyone who goes through these sort of struggles, right?
Yeah.
You know, I tried for so long, I couldn't get it done. I've got people in my corner, and then all of a sudden, I can do it. So if I can do it, you can do it too, and you can apply that to any walk of life. He was quick to sort of say how many messages that sort of resonated with. I think now there's a human aspect as well. Like, I just did something that I've set my entire career trying to do for the past 30 years. All I've wanted to do is become a legend of the game, win all 4 major championships. I've finally done it. Give me a little bit of time. Let me go find myself. Let me go take some family trips. Let me go take up some hobbies again that I haven't seen in a while, like tennis.
Forever.
He's going to regain the motivation eventually.
So you believe so? I mean,
I think this is more Tiger,
like Tiger
2001
2002, he
as
picks
opposed
up winning
to Duval 2000.
a second Masters in a row.
Correct.
He wins the U.S. Open at Bethpage. Do you think that Rory will find his way?
I mean, the Tiger.
Because David Duval did not really find his way back.
I think there was some other extenuating circumstances with David.
Sure.
Too, that I think that, you know, some injuries.
Yeah.
That definitely, and which changed his golf swing to a certain extent. And there were other things that were going on that Rory hasn't dealt with from a physical standpoint that were happening to David at the same time as well.
But Rory's path, too, so singular. What he's experienced over the last decade, no one else can say they experienced, Paige.
And I would also say, you know, he's a bit of a sensitive golfer in that he's not as, I feel like, cutthroat, outside the ropes as we've seen with other players that are of his ilk. And I think when he starts talking about his daughter and other things like that, she's starting school soon, there very well could be lifestyle changes that he's trying to incorporate while still playing at a high level. And I do think that does change motivation.
Yeah, and going back to the Tiger Slam comp or the Duval comp, you know, Tiger, the other 3 major championships in 01, didn't finish inside the top 10, which in that era was unthinkable. The rest of the 2001 season, Tiger won just 2 golf tournaments. Again, in that era, that would have seemed unthinkable. With an off season, then to reset, to regain the motivation. What does he do in 2002? He comes back and wins 2 major championships. There is still so much that Rory McIlroy can eventually accomplish. But it's becoming the most accomplished European golfer ever.
He doesn't have the same time.
Non-American.
He doesn't. But to that point, though, Tiger was still very young, 25, 26 years old. Whereas Rory's now 36, so the timeline for that greatness
he probably has a half-decade.
Is a lot shorter.
Probably has a half-decade left. Just, I mean, a couple months ago at the Players' Championship, he said that he wanted to walk away when he still had a little bit left in the tank. You can interpret that however you want, whether that's 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, who really knows. But there's still some tangible goals that if he wants to accomplish them, he certainly can. Obviously, he's in the best shape of his life right now.
Physically, he is. Rory once told me that he believed his 30s could be better than his 20s. Have they already been by accomplishing what he did 2 months ago?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, the 6th ever to complete the career Grand Slam.
In a word, yes. I mean, he made himself immortal in the game. There's 6 guys in the history that have done what he's done.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'd say his 30s have been better than his 20s.
Yeah, we appreciate his honesty. He's wonderful in the press setting. Rory McIlroy,